Let's bring in Michelle Malkin, syndicated columnist and author as well. Michelle, you know, as Rob just pointed out, the optics not good for the Democrats. While the president is holed up in the White House, has been right through Christmas.
Snowed in.
Here the Democrats are down at this luxury resort having a great time.
Yeah, it is an understatement to say that the optics are less than optimal here. I mean, Republican strategists couldn't write a better contrast between where the president is and what he's been doing, working overtime, going down to the border to underscore the national crisis that has been ongoing for decades. And then you have the so-called party of the people, partying for the people, playing beach blanket bingo with corporate lobbyists after having been shipped there on a private charter. Could somebody please document the carbon footprint that alone has implemented?
They had to take a private charter so they didn't go by the TSA people who weren't getting paid.
Yeah, good point, Steve. And I'll say also that isn't it interesting that, of course, Democrat winter retreats are never in so sort of hardscrabble areas like Nebraska. These people protest global warming, but they're all for it when it's for their winter retreats. Nice and warm there in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and Michelle, also, they weren't laughing in Houston and in Miami where TSA workers showed up, so few showed up that they had long lines, had to shut down many of the lines. I wonder what's going to happen this week as the pressure heats up. Who do you think the pressure is on?
Well, I think it is on the Democrats if the narrative is told properly, and contrasting these two things, I think, is the narrative that has to break through. I mean, what we have had on all of the other networks, of course, is this idea that somehow President Trump is akin to a human rights abuser because he is standing and holding the line on the sovereignty of this country. And you've got story after story, sob story after story of the hardship here, when the real hardship, of course, is the costs that have been borne by the American people because nobody in Washington wants to stand up and do something about this finally. How many wake-up calls do we have to have after 9/11 that underscore that this is a national security issue, that this is a public safety issue, it's a cultural issue, it's an economic issue? And instead, you know, didn't we just have Nancy Pelosi partying it up in Hawaii?
Yep.
I mean, where else can these people go, the Democrats, to avoid the problem? We have to confront it now.
You wrote in an op-ed that the border wall should be a monument for the people and not the politicians. Why do you think that? What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, and I documented extensively, you can see it at michellemalkin.com, the hypocrisy of Democrats who are for every profligate government infrastructure project available, billions and billions of dollars that have been spent on things like the Boston Big Dig or the $100 billion pipe dream bullet train that Jerry Brown has been wasting money on, or every highway and port project that is named after Robert Byrd. The people don't want these things. They are vanity projects for big spending Democrats. But for once, we have a president who says, you know what? The basic infrastructure and duty of government is to make sure that there are physical barriers on our border to keep us safe. But no, we can't have that. We can't have that. And so, you know, I'm thinking it would be nice for once if we had an infrastructure project that was built for the people and not the politicians.
Yeah, but how quick is the president going to want to deal with the Democrats on an infrastructure project after this?
Yeah, it's hard. It is really hard to deal with these beltway crap weasels who want to invest in everything except for the basic sovereignty of the country. Right. And I want to particularly call out Dianne Feinstein here, because now these people are trying to switch arguments. Oh, well, you know, it's not really the border that's causing the problem, it's visa overstays. When people like these Democrats, including Dianne Feinstein, have obstructed those basic reforms as well for more than 20 years.
Michelle Malkin, thanks so much.
Thank you, Michelle.
You bet.